Hey, so just kind of wanted to make a short video. Like I say, I feel weird just making them all the time and in the dark and stuff, but like at night, I've got a little bit of downtime. Just kind of, once again, over here waiting on the person I've hired to do some shit to come over here and get it done for me. Um, and that's, I guess, going to be a little bit of the topic of the video and stuff. It's me and my wife's kind of talked about it a little bit past few days and kind of formulating a decent opinion and stuff on kind of the subject of like reputation in your word and stuff. Obviously, I feel whenever it comes to like a reputation, if someone hates you just because you look a certain way or you're into certain stuff or whatever like that, or some lifestyle choice or whatever, like, I mean, that doesn't fucking matter. That's just stupid shit. It doesn't matter. Like, well, what I mean though is, like, if you're constantly like doing bad shit or you're constantly like fucking off on people, I feel like that's kind of whenever a bad reputation would come into play. What I'm kind of getting at here is just kind of with what I've been going through with people and stuff, is the person that I've hired to do these things, there's not a lot of choices around here to do said thing. And with that being said, I should have went with the other one, because there's two. The one that I did hire, seemingly super nice, like the guy and everything. But for the better part of a month, it's like almost every day, hey, I'm going to get it, hey, I'm going to get it, and then I just have to keep bothering and stressing and worrying about, like, I've got to get this shit done before I can move on to my next step. So with that being said, like, your word kind of becomes meaningless if you're constantly doing this. And then, like I say, people don't realize the gravity of these things, because if it's ever brought up in conversation, they're going to be like, or if they ever get asked about it, I don't think people should be put on blast and have their shit smeared everywhere. I mean, no telling what everybody else has got going on. But if anyone ever were to ask me, hey, should I hire this person, I would probably make a joke and say, yeah, if you don't mind, if you've got 6 months to burn or something, whatever, right? Like a better example, I guess, we used to have this fast food restaurant around here that had really cheap food and everybody liked it and stuff, but they got a reputation because all they would hire is like crackheads. So over time, like, they eventually shut down just because no one went there, because all they were hiring was crackheads and nobody wanted to fuck with them anymore. So I mean, that shit gets around, like, and I've talked about it. If I was doing like a service for people and stuff, if I don't have time for it, I would just be upfront instead of going ahead and taking on every job and just doing like a few minutes here and a few minutes there, and just keeping people waiting all the time, because you're probably not just fucking off on me, you're fucking off on X amount of people as well. And if you're doing that, then word will eventually get around so much that you're going to lose so much business, and it's not going to be as sustainable like that. I think a lot of people can handle honesty when it comes to these things, because if you've ever hired anybody to do a job, you probably know what I'm talking about, where it's just such a pain in the ass to get people to do the thing that you want them to do at the time you want them to do it. Most of the time, they don't even want you there, making sure they're doing it right. And I get that, but at the same point, I'm paying you like crazy amounts of money for what it is, and I want to be here to make sure I'm getting my money's worth. And I think that's fair for anyone who's going to be spending this amount of money. If you're expecting it to be like a buddy job where you're just doing like free work or something for somebody, or really cheap, like at that point it's kind of like understandable. Like you can't be telling them, well, hey, get this, and then it just adds up to a bunch of shit. But if you're paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to get something done, I feel like you should most definitely have a fucking say in it. While I am like upset at the whole situation, I'm not like just super angry at this, and that's why I wanted to make this video. But it's just, if you're ever thinking about going into business for yourself or doing things, I know things won't always line up how you want them to, time-wise. By the way, I know it looked like shit. I wore some of my work clothes and I'm fucking no sleep, but no, with that being said, it's like you'll eventually build up that reputation, and it's going to hurt you in the long run. If the only people you ever hire to do work is crackheads because you can pay them a little bit cheaper, the amount of times that these people aren't going to show up to work, or going to have issues with that, or you're going to get that reputation of these people are now hire crackheads. You don't want to. That's always going to hurt. Now, if you can kind of corner the market on something, then it's kind of like you ain't got no choice. But yeah, no, I think that there's a valuable lesson to be learned in all this, though, is just be honest and don't take people's money until you're ready to do something, if you can't even do it. If not, then pass it along to someone else. That happened to me once throughout this whole process, and honestly, I mean, I really respect that. Like, it was taking over a month or two to get this thing done, and I kind of started calling them and aggravating them a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm on a time frame. I really need to get this shit done. And anyways, they were super nice about it. They gave me a name and number of somebody else to call. They were able to get to it in a couple weeks. It was all fine. And I mean, I think an honest, normal person who has some fucking sense on stuff would feel that same way, where, you know, you could, it's understandable if you can't get to something. I get it. You've already got so much shit lined up. You're taking on some big jobs and stuff. But I'm always looking over, by the way, too, just because I see cars. I'm like, oh, fuck, they're here finally, because I've been waiting since this morning early. It's about lunchtime now. And I'm the dumbass here because I keep doing this. But it's like, I'm not over here at the time or two they've been here, then they don't hardly do anything, and they're just fucking around. And you can't hardly call or get them to answer you back on anything either, other than, hey, we're going to get tomorrow morning, hey, we're going to get tomorrow morning, over and over and over, every fucking day. And I've got my own shit. Like, I really need to get, you know, this taken care of so that I can then move forward, you know. But, no, like I say, I think over time, reputation can really help or hurt, you know, a business. And this goes for like little small town shit. I don't know how it is elsewhere, but with this little small town stuff, like, someone who has built up a reputation as being nice, and whether, say, even if it's like a business you're going like in to purchase something, treat everybody nice, whether if they're window shopping or if they're you know, actually purchasing something. Just be nice to them, because a lot of times people will remember that, and it's like, wow, they're nice, and then, you know, I'm going to go back and support them, small business, shit like that. Maybe whenever they got some money, or they grow up a little bit and got some shit, and, you know, whatever. But, now with that being said, though, I think there's a lot to learn from all this. Is that if you have the opportunity to do shit yourself, do as much of that as possible. Even if it seems like a lot of hard work and it's going to take you forever, chances are you're going to have it done before whoever you hire to do the work will have it done. But if there's certain things that you literally cannot do, if you're able to, ask around. Try to find someone else, or someone is, because if you get bad recommendations from people, multiple people, it's probably better to keep going. I mean, this whole thing has been a learning process, and really, I don't want this whole channel to just be like talking about this shit, but it's just such a big part of my life right now, and it's what I can talk about. Excuse me, a little bit more freely on this stuff. But damn, my eye bags are rough. But no, just like I say, just try to keep your word if you're doing shit for people, best you can. I think a lot of people are pretty forgiving on stuff. If something happens, like, that's understandable. Try to keep your word best you can. Don't leave people hanging all the time. You know, you don't have to be really good at shit a lot of times to be recommended. You just have to do the job okay and do it in a seemingly halfway timely manner. You're probably not going to worry too much if you're at Walmart and you're in the checkout line and you've been there before, and you know that cashier A is a lot faster than cashier B. And it's like, well, the line for A is longer, but then you go to B, and it's like, well, they take an extra minute or two to bag your groceries. Like, that's probably not going to be a big deal to most people. So, I mean, I get that, but people don't like to have their time wasted, above all, because at the end of the day, there's no way that I could be doing all this shit if I was still at a day job. I would not be able to get over here and wait and work and, you know, try to have some type of family time later on and shit either. Like, there's just no way. And most people are still in on the rat race, and they've got a lot going on and stuff like that. They definitely can't make time and fuck off their entire day and shit like that for this stuff. So just try to be conscious of that. I think it's important. Again, for anybody who's going to be doing stuff in the future, and, you know, I've really thought about going in and trying to do some of these things as another side hustle, because we're going to have like 4 or 5 anyways. If you've got any type of equipment and you're doing anything for people, if you can make bank. But just get the word out that you're good at what you do, decent anyways, because your average person isn't going to be able to tell how much different or better one thing looks other than the other, unless you're like knowledgeable about some of this shit. And a lot of your little small jobs are going to be your bread and butter, and then most people love gossip. I try my best to stay away from it. We don't even have most people in our life to fucking gossip to, or don't have hardly anybody to anyways, especially me. But word will get around that you're nice, you do it on time, decently, and you do pretty decent work, and you do it for a fair price. You know, you'll never run out of work to do. And in today's day and age, most people that are doing these things are old as fuck, and at some point they're going to have to get out of this shit. And, you know, there's going to be a good opening for younger people to come in and do it, because there's not a lot of young people on the market right now for doing, you know, whatever type of extra work that it is and stuff. And I know it's a lot harder now to get started up to be able to do all these things, but it's one of those things. It's like it's a long-term investment because we're getting to where less and less people are able to do their own shit. And if you're able to, you know, it's a pretty good way to go. Like, if you're able to, you know, save up over a couple years or whatever, start off with one piece of equipment, buy it cash out, take out a loan on, you know, say if you were going to buy like a backhoe or something, if you're going into that type of work, which I need one just kind of around the farm to do shit with. It's becoming more and more clear as time goes on. You know, for the price that most people will pay for a fucking used car, you could get one of those. And then if you pay it cash out because you saved up, you know, especially if you're still living at your parents' house doing whatever, then you can take out a loan against it, get you like a truck and trailer to haul it with or whatever, and advertise yourself, and you'll be able to, you know, make your money back in no time. I mean, a lot of these people are charging like, you know, close to $1,000 a day to do shit. You know, you'll be a lot better off. But you know, down the road and stuff like that, especially if you have your own shit that you're having to work on and do, you'll save so much time and money. And if you're kind of going into a business like what we're going into, I've mentioned it in every video in case no one watches this one or the other, which I don't think they are, but at some point, whenever I got a few people watching, though, I'm going to talk all about it. Like I say, I feel like it's important, so I just want to make a singular video dedicated to it, because these are long. I don't expect, if anybody does start watching these, to watch all of them. I mean, fuck. But yeah, what I'm doing is very time sensitive. Every day that I don't get something done and everything caught up, I'm losing money. And these things are really important, like I say, for people to get them set up in a decently timely manner. And the point of the video and stuff is, though, just if you're going to be doing anything, be reasonable and be as honest as you can on shit. You'll go a lot farther, and your shit's going to be a lot more sustainable. And over time, you're going to build up way more customers than anybody else. Just think of it as like advertising. Realistically, you know, word of mouth stuff. Especially if you're in and around kind of small town, everybody has to know everybody. I mean, I hate that shit, don't get me wrong. It's one of the things I hate the most about here, because a lot of what people hate on, you know, me and stuff for is that I'm trying to exit the rat race and that look a certain way and whatnot. But like I said, I got my work clothes on now. I feel kind of normie-ish, but whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. But anyways, though, so hopefully this video, you know, reaches somebody, you know, maybe thinking about going in and doing some stuff. And hopefully the air conditioner doesn't pick up on here and it sounds bad. But anyways, though, if anybody watched this, take it easy.